Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk to you about Chapter 2 of the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. This is Chapter 2. So Frederick begins the chapter talking about the plantation that he lived on. He says the plantation was 12 miles north of Easton in Talbot County. It bordered something called the Miles River. His slave master or owner was named Colonel Lloyd. It says that he talks about how all the surrounding plantations, this is where they came to receive their monthly allowance of food, and they got a year's worth of clothing. So in that allowance, they got each family was getting 8 pounds of pork or the equivalent in fish per month. They got 1 bushel of cornmeal. Okay, for clothing, adults got 2 shirts, 1 pair of trousers, 1 pair of socks, and 1 pair of shoes. And this was their year for clothing. The children, because they weren't working in the fields, they received 1 long shirt. And he says that if the shirt was ripped, a lot of times you'd see slave children running around naked. There were no beds. They were given just a blanket to lay across the floor. The overseer, which is like the manager on the plantation, was named Mr. Severe. And he says that his name was appropriate because he was a very severe man. He says he loved to whip slaves to the point of them being bleeding. Said he was a cruel man. At some point, the slave owner, the overseer, changed to a man named Mr. Hopkins. He was less severe. Going back to Mr. Severe, he says that in the morning, the bell would sound for everybody to get up to work. And if you didn't get out in the timely fashion to get to the field, Mr. Severe was standing there at the door waiting to whip any slave who did not make it out in a timely fashion. He says on the plantation, there were all types of trades that the slaves knew how to do that happened on the plantation. Okay, blacksmiths, people building things, people carpenters, all types of different things took place. It was a hub of business, more so than the rest of the plantations in the surrounding area that were basically just farms. He talks about the big house, how some slaves were chosen to go to the big house. He says that some were enthusiastic. They seemed like that was the big house is the place where the slave master lived. They would sing songs along the way. He says he never understood the songs, and he came to understand that people thought that when slaves sang songs that they were happy, but he says that slaves sing the most when they are most unhappy. The songs of the slave represent the sorrows of the heart. So that was chapter 2 of the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. That was chapter 2. Stay tuned for chapter 3 at another date. Thank you.